takes care of everything that he can, and he keeps me up.
So basically, we're talking
So
six,
you're gonna have compression problems with all of them if you don't do similar to what you did,
Yeah.
right? I mean, they're all lower than, but one of them's the same, I guess, isn't it? You don't do the same, they're all gonna be making less than the dispatcher is.
Next year dispatcher won't be mine. Next year dispatcher will be
Yeah.
somebody else. I can say, oh, this is not my problem.
38, 41.9, and 39.9.
okay, not picking on the maintenance director, but the maintenance director at the courthouse got 3%.
Okay? Want to be consistent and do them all that way, or not?
That's the discussion on the floor between the three of them. Well,
I think Sonya.
two of them.
Yeah.
You
I
gotta
think
keep,
Sonya's-
you
Two
gotta
of 'em.
separate her from that.
So line item 14037 will stay. And line item 14043 and 14044 is what we're talking about.
I know at one time we had that same discussion about the maintenance director over there versus the maintenance director at the courthouse, and I can't remember now, it's been several years ago. We talked about that at one time, I don't know if we addressed it or not, but there was, like I say, a discrepancy between the two. Assuming they do similar duties, except for Scott, of course, I don't think it was Scott at the time, has a much older building over there.
Well, I know where I'd rather be repairing stuff.
Previously, you guys made them match exactly, and if you do 3% for the maintenance director at the jail, it will be the exact same as Scott's salary over the courthouse, 42,665, sorry.
Well, it sounds like we don't have a choice on that one.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
We're down to one person.
Which one we working on?
Carol,
Line item 14043.
the rare counselor.
Really,
He's the highest paid of all of them, right?
you about have to stay at 3%. You can't give,
I agree.
you gotta be consistent.
3%.
3%.
I agree.
You good?
Yeah.
We're not in a hurry, but we're gonna run through some of these.
Did you,
Dog catcher, 8912, you used $751.
did she fix that one too, Sonia's yet, or?
Yeah, the bottom two are 3%.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So the maintenance director.
Sonya stays the same, correct?
Yeah,
That
she
was
stays
done
the
before.
same, 'cause she's the jailer too.
Okay. I'm good.
Dog catcher, Gary, we're not catching many dogs. Does that need to stay where it is?
For now, yeah, well, as long as I can come back and ask for more, you can drop it down to 6.
6,000. Extra help, 142,000 is a request. We spent 14,316 this year, 24,000 the previous year, and 22,000 the previous year.
Now, I think something,
Yeah, that number needs to go to
50,000.
50.
if you make it 50, and I don't know,
50,000.
Like there was an extra zero put on there.
Yeah.
We can make it 42 if there's extra one put on there.
Something like that, yeah.
Come play that keyboard again, Tom.
That might be what it was.
Overtime, 33 grand. We spent 10,000, 30,000, and 32,000. So I guess that's about where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
Training education, 10,000. We spent $94 this year, but 21,000 the previous year and 38 the previous year. 100, not 1,000, 100, 3,800.
we've not really sent many to training this year.
Leave that go, I guess.
All right. We'll leave it. Holiday pay, nothing we can do. Longevity, nothing we can do. Office supplies, 7,000 is in the budget. You've spent 3830, 5368, and $7,001.
He's in that range.
Why is there two separate?
Base, uniforms, inmates, that's within the range, we'll leave it. Inmate personal needs,
How do you gauge that?
that's consistent.
Okay.
Janitorial supplies, 32.5, so 17,000 this year, 69,000 one year, and 37,000, so I guess we're within range.
Okay.
Bedding and linens, 8,000
They get scheduled.
versus 7,300 this year, 8,000 the previous year, and 8,000 the previous year, I guess that's.
Work for the city of Crown Point, Christmas.
Institutions and medical supplies, 337,000. We spent 124,000 this year, 200,000 the previous year, and 223,000 the previous year. Obviously, there appears to be a little wiggle room. Gary?
I asked for 33 or 300,
37, yeah.
because I'm wanting an extra nurse. I'm wanting one more nurse. For
Is
the
that-
10-hour shifts.
Is that a contract or an employee?
It's a contracted service. I contract with, Quality Correctional Care.
How much is that person, roughly?
I think they get 60,000 plus
Six
benefits
on their end,
on their end.
so that's,
They take care of all that. And they take care of all the medical billing. And then if it goes above and beyond, then I have to pay, some of it, but
well, that's about $80,000 with Benny's. In the 337 you were at,
and we have some padding in there.
And he's
for-
annualized at 175 right now.
We have some padding in there for just in cases.
That's the money we're after right there. 250 it looks like. 255 maybe.
Gary, do you know the contract amount for that if you add the nurse?
Can you call Josh? Ask him what it is without the padding.
so, if you look at the, not this year, the previous 2 years, 223 and 201, if that person's 60,000 plus benefits, 33%, you're looking at 80,000, so 80,000 on top of those numbers is close to 300.
75.
275 on 2020, and on 2019, it would be 300.
And he annualized this year though, it'll be 225.
So,
Yep. $250?
I'm saying 250. I think we need to get some money out of there. We've spent a bunch of money there.
When you get that,
Sheriff has to tighten that belt.
It's really hard to tighten the belt, okay, and here's why. Because every inmate that comes in there suddenly develops a problem.
Yeah.
Right? And if I don't address that problem, then they sue me.
Yeah.
And that's a boat you don't wanna go down.
Yeah.
Because they will give it to them every stinking time. This company also takes on the same liability that I do, right? When they get sued, I get sued. So they've got office help, they've got attorneys, they've got doctors, they've got dentists that come in, they've got mental health people that come in that deal with our inmates. A dentist comes in. If an x-ray needs, they send someone in to do an x-ray, or we gotta transport them. Had a guy bit by a dog, I gotta take him to Indianapolis, right? If I don't take him to Indianapolis to this doctor, I'm liable for all of his injuries for the rest of his life. So, no, that money is well spent money. That's probably better spent money than any place else. And I still get sued.
all right, it stays.
But for what our expenses.
$300.
What?
You gotta have some extra in there for the other incidentals. If the contract with the nurses is 294, that 37 is just for,
Yeah, this isn't just for that contract.
That's for aspirin, that's for,
yeah.
you know, there's
Band-Aids.
Band-Aid,
Yeah.
you really, Tom, I would love for you to come sit in my jail for a couple
I
of
was
shifts.
over there with you. One day was enough.
Wear with a mask down there on the floor and see what they have to do.
No, I don't want to do that.
Which
I've
side of the
got-
bars?
Yeah,
I've got 130 inmates, and I think I've got 28 diabetics. We are high on the diabetics. The quality correctional care inmate, we are very high with diabetics and compared to other jails.
And Gary, is it still like, I worked at the welfare department several years ago, and I remember I had at least a couple of my clients who got jailed. And once they went into the jail, we cut them off of Medicaid.
Right.
So they're your problem
If
then.
they are the county's problem then. Now, if they are admitted, after 24 hours, Medicaid will kick in. Used to, they didn't do that. But same-day surgery, someone's got an infected toe,
All right,
we got cars running all over the place just to doctors.
So to Pete,
That's why I bought a jail van, so I could use it to transport medical people.
Why don't we go 320? That way it's 294 for the contract, and then it's 25,000 for extra whatever other stuff you need. That's good.
Thank you.
320. Uniforms, maybe a tad, 15,000, you spent 9,300, 6,100, and 14 grand.
He's in pretty good shape there.
I'll leave that one. Utilities, wow, we're not gonna touch that one. We may need to increase that one. I hate to say the word increase.
It just depends on the electric and gas that we,
Yeah, but,
You've been running more though.
well, I can tell you this, my air conditioning units are running 24/7 and they're only at 50%. So once we get these new units on, maybe we'll see.
Might help the efficiency.
It might help efficiency.
Mhm.
looking at 2019 and 2020, if we're gonna run more efficient, we'll go ahead and leave the 119 then?
Yeah,
Okay, 119,000.
it'll be interesting to watch that.
It will be. And I'm interested in seeing what the phone bill does too now that we tell AT&T.
Gas, 39,000, same budget that we've used. Obviously, we're not in the gas season here right now, but 18,343 for now, 32,000 and 31,000. Gas is a little higher.
Probably when it gets into the colder months, depending, you just don't know what that's gonna do.
Yeah, I wouldn't probably mess with that.
All right, we'll leave that alone. Water and sewage, we're gonna leave at 78,000, that's consistent. Repairs and maintenance, 70,000, we've been over that each of the previous 3 years, so we will leave that. Meals, 355,000, we're at 200,000 now, and the previous 2 years was 311 and 333. Probably don't need to touch that. Furniture and fixtures, 20,000, haven't spent anything this year. At the previous year, 6,300 and 20,000 and 19,500. So there may be a little wiggle room there, but you're probably coming back. We can make 15.
I'm okay with that.
15,000. License renewals, can't do anything about that, $27,000. Maintenance agreements, 135,000.
That seems, what do you got going on there?
Well, we've got Spillman, we've got, Motorola, which we may be getting out of that with the central dispatch. I'm not gonna promise anything until I figure that all out. It's just like everything else, as soon as you do something, you gotta get a maintenance agreement with it.
But it's still quite a bit higher than the previous 3 years.
It's like that other one up there we looked at. I mean, you're only spending, what,
55,
35, probably 45,000 on the average, and you got 135 in the budget, 135,000 in the budget.
Okay.
75, 70?
27,
No, that was in the budget.
27, oh, no.
That's in the budget.
Right now, you're on track to spend 38,250.
Okay. Well, if I need to come back, I'll come back.
70? Is that good?
With that?
Pardon?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good.
70,000. Computer software and hardware,
That's another.
not much we can do. PPE, you're, haven't spent anything this year, but
Oh, yeah, I have.
But that's all be by the state since COVID broke out? Did I read that or hear that?
I haven't spent any this year, PPE.
I thought,
If Barbara got grant money, I would bet.
I thought
Yeah.
this, in the
Oh,
last
yeah,
2
right.
years, the state had paid for everything.
I don't know. I know I went and ordered, whenever, at the first part of August, when I got sick again with COVID, I ordered a bunch more masks. Indiana Safety has them, they're sitting on the shelf, and I ordered a bunch, because they can sit on my shelf and I'll use them. So, but that was something we added last year, and we said we would take another look at it this year. What is it, 10,000?
With all that's going on, that's not a big line item, we'll leave it.
I just don't know what tomorrow brings with this
Fine,
COVID.
we're done with the jail. Central dispatch. Social Security Group Health Perf. The dispatch coordinator, whoever that person's going to be, is going to make 45,144 and not 42,144. That needs to be changed. That was done by the joint meeting of Finance and Operations Board for Central Dispatch, which included those two men sitting there, you know,
That was a decision that
mayor,
that group come to.
yep, fire chief,
I
Derek,
made this budget, and I just put $1,000 above what everybody else made. The committee, the committee felt that, that person should have made more than just $1,000 more.
or they wouldn't get anybody with the duties and responsibility of the internal three people they're going to interview. So that's 45,144. Assistant dispatch coordinator always makes $500 more, maybe not that person, but nonetheless, that's that's why it's $500 more. Dispatchers, once again, that's what has to happen. Over time, obviously, these are all new numbers. Nobody knows what's gonna happen. $10,000, will there be overtime? We're in new territory. We do know the holiday pay. Gary, overtime, you don't know, that's not a big number. What about part-time? With all the dispatchers, will there still be a need for,
We have already not filled a few of those positions, so we're ready to start transitioning that over. If you wanted to lower it 10,
40, make it 40?
40 grand? Longevity,
I said
I
stuff's all.
guess that number's right.
that number was correct with, who we knew coming over from the city when we did the budget.
That may change.
That could change, but I don't think,
Okay, here again,
the big ones are John Kavanaugh. He's been there for 30 years, so he's at least 30 years plus, probably. And Mark Brochen's probably 10, and then the other ones are under 5 years.
okay, and whatever we have to do there, we'll do, but
Not a big number.
Is that gonna be on the county longevity schedule?
yes,
And ours is better than theirs, right?
Ours is better than theirs.
yes. Theirs is a percentage, it could be a weird number, like 56, 18, or whatever.
I don't understand that.
Yep. And that's what offsets the difference between them not getting anything next year. Their longevity's better, so therefore that's supposed to be a wash. All right, office supplies, we have no idea. PPE, $2,000, we have no idea. We'll leave those. Uniforms, 5,000.
Do they have uniforms?
They're gonna be dispatch T-shirts, aren't they?
Well, there'll be polo shirts.
Yep.
with-
It's something we need to pay for that, I guess.
Yeah, they may go to classes or a lot of that training.
And that was also, I think, when I was on that committee a few years ago, one of the discussions was to give them something specific to where that was different from either the city or the county. Stand out, because the idea was to make that a separate group.
Yeah, because, yeah,
Yeah, they won't wear blue, they won't wear brown.
right.
Yeah.
I said, we're in,
Hey, Army Marines, it's John Deere and International. And I'm an international guy, but I have a green lawnmower.
I got two green lawnmowers.
We're gonna leave that.
National guy too, so.
furniture and fixtures, I know what that's budgeted to, those guys, are huge numbers, so this is gonna be the odds and ends of something that didn't get through.
Right.
Computer software and hardware, nothing we can do.
So, Tony, my question then is on, with the agreement with the city then, so is this our portion of the total bill, or is this bottom line number to be split? How does that take out?
This is the total, projected total. Originally, it came in $1.1 million, and it's at 930. This is everything, correct?
But then,
Correct, and then I think the city's just given us,
40%, wasn't it, or something?
The split was
35.
65.
yes,
35.
that was my question, and
I
so,
think, are they, my understanding is they'll just write a check at some point in time during the
Yes.
year
Yeah.
to Daviess County General Fund.
so this 937 is the total bill of which we would pay 65% of,
Yes,
correct? Okay,
but that's true. But since we're all county employees, it's all Gary's budget. But the answer to that is 35% of that money will come back.
right, okay, that's
It'll
what I
all flow
wanted.
through the county books, but then that part will come back from
Yep.
the city.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to verify.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, you're correct, and we're good,
Good question.
right? Mr. President of the Operations Board, right? Had to throw that one in.
Yeah,
He got thrown under the bus and nominated for that one, he didn't, so.
well, I
Wasn't it the
can start on something and then 15 minutes later, I'm going a different direction. And so I delegated this one to him and
Hey.
he can,
A chain's only as good as a weakest link, you gotta
Variance.
delegate.
that's, yeah, you got it.
Okay,
All right. Misdemeanant. County Corrections misdemeanant. 24,000 for part-time, they spent 7,500, 16,000, 17,000. Help me with this.
I don't know what it is.
This is a fund that back in the 70s, okay, state said, we are no longer taking Class A misdemeanors in our prison system. So we, the state, is going to pay you, the county, this amount of money for that, and they're still paying it now. So we use it for some part-time help here and there.
Okay?
No, we don't need to do anything to it then.
Do what?
We don't need to do anything with it then.
No.
Actually, I think we get 18 something, I think there's 65,000 in the account. And
So we're gonna have it another 2.5 years. E911.
yeah, the 911 director will present this budget next year too.
Okay.
So it's those two, when Darren asked that question earlier, is it these two added together, dispatch and this one? Or is it, was it?
No, this is separate. How we always done this before was we would give the city 35,000 and then we would give county general 35,000 to help offset dispatcher pay. Then we increased it to 70,000 because it wasn't even paying for one dispatch, right? So we've done that again this year, but then now we've got to have names with, apparently Patty says you can't transfer funds, and that's a
Okay,
Patty
so
thing.
the E911 fund is a state revenue. We receive that money from the state. We cannot transfer that money to another fund. So in the agreement with the city and the boards that met, part of the funding is gonna come from the E911, not all from the county. So those charges have to be submitted under this budget in these lines, basically.
Okay, so what's the dispatch really, does this supplement or offset some of the 900 hundred and some thousand, or not?
No.
No.
This would be in addition to.
Basically, this is saving that budget for paying for these things.
Part of this will be included in the 65-35 split.
So really, our dispatch is the dispatch plus
Plus
this.
this.
Yes.
Jesus. Yeah, so that was your question, I
Yeah.
guess. Was 350,000 on top of
The
937?
37.
And then you get 35% of that from the
Yeah.
They're reimbursing us, it's just, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Keep
So the
books right.
E91 fund is very strict, and it's audited each year. So we know for certain that it will pay for the salaries and these items that we've put in there, and it helps max out
Right.
the
It'll,
benefit.
it also pays for radio equipment. Like a few years back, we said we could put radios in our cars with it. Yeah, well, you can't, so we had to pay that money back to one fund. And County Highway bought signs with it one year. Can't, cause sign is the oldest form of communication, right? And we're like, yeah, sure, buy County Highway signs with it. No, you can't. So County Highway had to pay the fund back that. It's very strict on what it can be used,
Okay.
which,
Very strict to the point that on a computer setup, we actually had to pay back for a pin that was with the computer.
yeah,
And that again, this stays as is.
Yeah.
And that again goes back to whoever's looking at it in Indianapolis at the time, you know, one person says, yeah, you can do that, next person, no, you can't.
yeah. There's some of that too.
corner, the last one. All right. Last one is a corner, but then when we're done, we're not
This
done.
one don't concern
We
me.
have to go back.
Yeah.
And you want to figure
Thank
that
you, guys.
before we make that decision.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So we'll take a break and you won't. Is that how it works?
Oh, yeah.
County coroner, elected official 19,459 is the 3%. The bonus is for the clerical assistant. No,
Bonus would go to him.
yep, that's the elected official. Clerical assistant, that's 4711 is 3%. Deputy coroner, 4773 is 3%. Social Security, Medicare, perf.
Deputy coroner.
Deputy coroner, $3,059, 3%. Office supplies, $400, which has never been spent. Body bags, $550, which hasn't been spent the last 3 years, which we're gonna take that as a good thing, but leave it. Autopsy, $70,000. We spent $33,000, $42,000, and $76,000.
That fluctuates.
Pardon?
I think that fluctuates based on.
Yeah. Postage, $100. In the last 3 years, we've spent $5. Travel mileage, $1,500. We spent $800, $200, and $400.
Let's make that 1,000.
$1,000. Telephone, $250. Hard to understand how we can spend $14, but
Payphone?
Guess we'll leave that go.
payphone.
Don't they have one of those at the museum?
Bet you didn't get a receipt. It's not much money, we'll leave it. Dues and subs, $825, nothing this year, but $525 and $700.
Good.
Equipment, $1,500, we spent $900, $1,000, and $250. So we have one change on the whole thing. Now, it appears that we're done, but we're not. So you want to figure some things, and then we make a decision in the auditor's budget, is that correct? So how much time do you need? 20 minutes? I guess we'll pause you for roughly 20 minutes. It's 10 till 2, quarter after 2. Then we will address it.
Fourth Street.
We don't want to address that now, or do you want to address it?